The first route that I'll show you on Raindance is going to be a right to left. Now for this jump here, there are two ways to do it. The first one involves you staying close to the ground, so then you're sneaky. The other way that you can do it is to go as high as you possibly can and then come down. Now the advantages of doing the second one is that you end up getting a lot of speed, but the disadvantage is that you can easily get spotted. Now for the next two jumps, what you want to try to do is you want to try to conserve your energy as much as possible. Now the reason we conserve the energy is so that you don't have to land anywhere else. After you do that jump, you can just land directly on the flag. And now the exact same route, except the impact nitron will be utilized for some additional speed. The return route isn't anything too fancy. The only small difference is the fact that with the impact nitron you have additional speed, and that speed gets translated into a bit more energy, so then there's a slightly different return route, only after you're supposed to do the final jump. And now the exact same route, except this time the explosive nitron gets used instead of the impact nitron. I prefer to use this route with the explosive nitron instead of the impact, and that's because when you're doing this jump right over here, you end up getting a lot of height, and that height gets translated into a lot of additional speed when you compare it to the impact nitron. The return route, you have already seen it, so I'll just go ahead and fast forward. And now I'll show you how to do a left to right on this map. Now when you get that same spawn again, trust me, it's pretty common, so you're not going to have too much difficulty. Just move a bit to the back. Now the reason I consider this route a bit trickier than the other is because of the fact that the landing that you're supposed to do just before you do the flag grab is a bit trickier to do than the other, because the way the shadows are placed, so it's a bit hard to know where you're supposed to land, but with a bit of practice you'll get it. And this is the exact same landing that I was talking about. The return route isn't anything too fancy, especially when you're not using the impact nitron for some speed, so I'll just go ahead and fast forward. And now the impact nitron will be used for some additional speed on the exact same route. The return route, I'll just go ahead and fast forward. And now the exact same route, except this time the explosive nitron gets used. I don't really have any preference over the impact nitron or the explosive, because both of them get the job done for this one. So just go ahead and use whichever one you prefer. The return route looks exactly like the route that I showed you just before, so I'll just go ahead and fast forward. And now here's another right to left, except this one is a bit more modified, so then you can get a quicker cap. And now over here you want to stare at the flag's direction, so then you can end up putting yourself in the correct direction when you're about to land down. And now the return one for this one is going to be the exact same as the right to left that I showed you when you're starting it out. And now the exact same route, except the impact nitron gets used for some speed. The return route is basically the exact same, so I'll just go ahead and fast forward. And now the exact same route, except this time the explosive nitron gets used instead of the impact. Now for this route, I prefer to use the explosive nitron instead of the impact. And that's because of the fact that the explosive nitron gives you a much greater punch, and that punch gets used for a lot of these jumps, and they end up giving you a much greater benefit than if you were to use the impact nitron. The return route, I'll just go ahead and fast forward. It's the exact same thing. So thank you for watching.